We're live. Welcome everybody to Caker's Chat. It is Juliet and we have Rosie live from the UK. I would drink tea, but I'm more of a coffee gal. So here we go. Rosie, thank you so much for interviewing with us today. I cannot wait to hear more about your glorious adventure. How on earth did you become the editor and founder of a cake magazine, no less a magazine named Cake Masters?
So it wasn't really something that I had planned to do. I was working, after university, I worked in an accountancy firm and then moved to banking, and I got a good job there, got promoted, all the rest of it, stayed there, and yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It was in compliance, so it was one of those roles where you had to kind of enforce rules and regulations, and it was all quite rigid.
Okay.
Bit boring, but I enjoyed it. And I had always wanted to have my own business, but could never come up with any good ideas. And I'd come up with ideas and tell my husband, and he was like, yeah, great idea, but that won't make you any money. Or great idea, how would you do that? Great idea, maybe that should be a charity. So it was never anything that I could kind of think of that was, good. And on TV, you had programs like The Apprentice, and I think there was a Martha Stewart one, which was really good because it was quite creative, and I really loved it. The American versions were always better than the UK versions. The UK version, like, here's a bucket and sponge, go clean as many cars as you can. While the American version was like, here's a budget, you create an advert for Lamborghini. And I'm like, wow, I really would love to do stuff like that. So I was always inspired to have my own sort of business, but couldn't think of anything. In 2010, 2011, I started baking a lot, and I could bake a cake, but couldn't make it look pretty. So I was looking for a class to go to, and I couldn't find a class that covered everything. It was either a class that just did royal icing, or just did buttercream, or just did a certain style. So I thought I would have my own class, and I would buy every single product out there, molds, cutters, stencils, just everything, and get people to come to my class where they could try absolutely anything. So I did that. I trained with a tutor myself so I could learn and be able to teach other people. And I held my first class, and it was great. It was a cupcake class, and people got to do modeling, stenciling, lots of different things. They got to use molds and cutters, make flowers and all the rest of it. So then I thought, wow, this is great. I was still working full time, but I hired a little village hall and started doing my classes there. But I was trying to figure out how I was going to get more people to come to my classes. And I advertised in a local magazine, didn't quite work. So I opened up a Facebook page. It was called Cake Masters, and my classes were called Cake Masters. So after I opened up my Facebook page, that was probably back in 2011, end of 2010, I literally got all of my friends and family to like my page, and I had about 30 likes, and people who were just my friends and family were liking and commenting on stuff, and thought, wow, this girl doesn't sleep, she just posts classes, which was maybe like twice a month. People who came to my classes started posting what they were making, and I would post what other people in the classes had made that particular weekend. And it started getting shared really well, and it became like a page where not only students that came to my class would post, but other people who liked to bake and cake decorate would post, and lots of questions, and I would always answer the questions, and then slowly other people started answering questions. So then when we had about 30,000 likes, we had reach of like 1.2 million.
Wow.
So it was just really viral. Anything that we kind of posted was really kind of crazy.
And how quickly did that happen?
So I would say that happened like about a year and a half, maybe about a year or something like that. So it was really kind of active. Everything was really active. Then Facebook changed from wall to timeline. So wall was when they don't have the wall anymore. It was basically a wall, and every post would come up. Now it just has the page owner's posts that come up on the main thing, on the main page. So people would message me and say, I can't see what everyone else is posting. You have to kind of click visitors posts and then scroll down that. It's not really the same thing. So engagement did kind of fall a little bit because it didn't have the same sort of like a kind of haphazard anybody posting stuff. So I pulled together a 4-page document, PDF document. I think I used Desktop Publisher.
Oh my.
Had tons of clip art in it because I thought clip art was really cool. and then pulled together some stuff that I'd seen online, people making cakes, recipes, or just things that I'd seen online. And that, believe it or not, was the first issue of Cake Masters magazine.
Wow.
So that 4-page document was the beginning, I guess, of my magazine. So the magazine then evolved into just like an online, free online thing again, where I just get people who had posted on my page to give, be in the magazine. That then turned into a paid digital magazine. That then turned into a paid printed magazine. So I was working at the time, and I think the thing is, I was quite lucky that I was working at the time. So if I made any mistakes, I still had a regular job that I could go back to.
You get a backup plan.
So I would always recommend that if anyone's thinking of kind of like quitting to go out on their own, to really just like use your day job to kind of fuel what you're doing, to kind of cover up any mistakes or anything. But when we first got our printed magazine, I think it was the February 2012 issue or 13 issue, I can't remember which year it was. The minimum order was 1,000 magazines, so we had to get 1,000 magazines printed, and my husband was paying for the print bill, not me. And literally we got 1,000 printed, and I thought, yes, we're gonna sell all these, and we literally sold maybe about 20.
Oh my gosh!
So we had like,
oh no!
so many left over, and then our living room slowly became our post room, and it was just magazines everywhere, envelopes everywhere. And then obviously we weren't selling 1,000 every month, and we would just have all these boxes, like a skyline of boxes of magazines, unsold magazines. It was just crazy.
How did that make you feel that you didn't sell out?
Well, I was working full time, so I didn't really feel like I had a business. I didn't think I was going to be, a magazine was going to be my business. It was just after time when we realized that people were actually interested in the magazine and they were buying the magazine. I think it was 2004. My husband quit his job and I had quit my job in 2013 at the end of that year. That's when we decided, right, okay, we need to do this properly because people are buying the magazine and, advertisers are calling while I'm at work. This doesn't work, and I just felt like I had to do one or the other. And it was a really difficult time for me because I just left my previous role at the bank where I'd been for like 6 years or something. And I just moved and been promoted to another bank, and I had a great team of people underneath me. And it was just really scary going from such great structure to just, hey, I have my own business and I'm going to work out of my dining room now. So lots of people at work didn't really understand what I was doing or why I was doing it. And because it was so different to banking, they just thought, wow, you're brave. You're working with your husband, you're probably going to end up getting divorced or something.
Oh, they're so positive. Thanks so much for the support.
I'm not a cake person at all. So we did kind of worry a little bit, but we just threw ourselves into it during 2014. We just marketed ourselves like crazy. And but this is where we are now. We're in newsstand in Barnes & Noble, Joanne Fabrics in the US.
Yay!
In the UK, in Tesco's and Asda's, and also W. Smith. We're in App Store and Google Play. We're also in Australian newsstand. We're in South African newsstands. We're in CNA stores, and I can't remember the name of the other store.
So you're selling you're selling a little bit more than 1,000 magazines now.
Yes. So and then we have direct sales as well. So our Facebook page has, if it wasn't for the Facebook page, I wouldn't have the business. And that's partly how I became a Facebook ambassador.
That's right. Let's talk a little bit about that. What is a Facebook ambassador? How did you become one?
So actually, I complained to Facebook because I was unhappy with how things were working. So we have an account, we boost posts and all that kind of stuff. And we just were struggling to understand how it was working, how the engagement was working, and what we needed to change in our sort of our metric side of things. So while I actually managed to speak to a person. Normally when you deal with Facebook is you send an email, you get an email back, you send another email, another person sends an email back, then you send another email, and there's like a huge change of conversation with different people. But someone actually called me, which I was so surprised about. I thought, is it really Facebook? Is it just a marketing agency that uses Facebook? Oh, I don't know. But no, it was actually somebody from Facebook. It was their main hub in Ireland that gave me a call. And so they were helping me with my original query. And then they said, oh, just tell me a bit about how you started and all this kind of stuff. So then it was from that they said, oh, we have an ambassador program. Would you like to interview for it? And I just thought, okay. Fine. And then somebody interviewed me a few days later, and I wasn't sure if I was positive enough to have got the role, but because I was talking about my struggles and how Facebook works for me and what I think could be done better and all this kind of stuff. Maybe I thought, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said so much of that. But yeah, I got a call a few days later saying, yeah, we'd love you to be an ambassador. What that will mean is that you'll be able to meet Facebook executives at various events. We'll be able to promote you as your business. We'll be able to promote Cake Masters as well. And we will be able to help you have a one-to-one service with somebody in the Facebook team to make sure that your page is doing the best it possibly can be. And I think Facebook's got some form of a sort of thing in a magazine where they want me to be one of the profile and case studies. So because I used Facebook as my starting for my business, they were really keen for me to share my story and talk about what works and what didn't work for me.
And it all started from you complaining about them.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I became an ambassador.
Okay, so speak up.
It was really good. I've been to my first ambassador event, and I got to be with, on a panel with some other people who started exactly the same way and promote themselves through Facebook. So yeah, it was great. You get to meet lots of great people too.
That's fantastic. How do you guys pick your covers?
How do we pick our covers? So recently we have been putting tutorial cakes. So we have lots of... So I have actually one of the magazines with me, actually. Oh, let's just hope this is the October issue, so it's all back to front, I guess, for you.
Look at that cake. Look at that clock and the gears.
Yeah, so we this is by Tracy Rothwell. She's from the Little Cherry Cake Company. Check her page out. She's amazing. Her cakes are amazing as well. And she has her own range of cutters. So she's actually used the cutters on the front cover of this cake. So the steampunk theme is
alive and well.
This issue was about. And yeah, so we put a tutorial cake on the front cover of this one. We sometimes, we will go out to people. We actually have a contributors sign up list. So on a monthly basis, we will go out to people and say, we are looking for this kind of stuff. And we will email out those people. And if people are interested in coming back to us with high resolution photos, that's the most important thing. If you don't have high resolution photos, we cannot put your photos.
Stress it out there.
Yeah. So many people send us amazing cakes, but the resolution is so low that it would just break when it prints at the printer. So we go through we upload our magazine to the printers, and the printers then go through a final check, and they tell us which images are just not going to print properly. So we have to be really careful about resolution to make sure our magazine looks the best. So yeah.
Fantastic. Now, how can I make it into the magazine?
You can sign up to the contributors list, or you can send us your cakes, share them with us on our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/cakemasters. You can share them with me on Instagram or on Twitter. Most people actually share it on our Facebook page, or they contact us through our contributors list. We also
contributors list. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a sign-up form that we have on our website, cakemastersmagazine.com.
That's where you get your content from?
Where? From?
The contributors list.
Yeah, so we will reach out to people and say, so for example, we'll reach out to people and say we have a theme where we are sharing autumn and fall inspired cakes or spooky inspired cakes. And we did I think it was a 4-page spread, and this purely came in from, here we are. So this is the spooky versus autumnal. So these are all
I love
people
that.
on the contributors list.
I love that.
So they sent in their cakes, and we asked for a bit of inspiration text. So all of these cakes are from people on our contributors list. And it doesn't have to be a brand new cake. It doesn't have to be a brand new cake. It can be something that you've done before that you'd like to share with us. And we will, if it fits, we get so much content. If it fits and the resolution is right, we will put you in.
Okay, so get your resolution right.
Yeah. Sign up to our contributors list. Share your work with us on our Facebook page. Just send me a message even. People email me all the time and say, I'd love to get into your magazine. What do I need to do? We have various themes throughout the year. So if we think that if we think that your style of cakes will fit a certain theme, then yeah, we will ask you.
Now, you have some, I hear a rumor that there's some award ceremony involved with your magazine. Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, the
Yes,
rumors
we
are
have
true.
awards. We do
Look
have
at
awards. They came
this.
today. They came especially for my interview with you, so I could show you this. So this
Oh
is
my
the
gosh.
Wedding Cake Award. This one is sponsored by Fonderific. So I just have, there's a whole box of them over there, but we have about, I think about 15,
Guys,
16
do it. I don't
categories.
see any hearts. Don't you guys love this thing? Oh my god, it's gorgeous. It's shiny. New
Yes, it's
car
quite heavy
smell.
as well.
It's heavy? Well, if it's
Yeah.
heavy, you know it's good. You know it's good.
So yeah, we have some awards that we give out every year. We started the awards in 2012, and it was just a way of recognizing people in the industry. I think the reason why we're a bit different at Cake Masters magazine, and I think a lot of magazines are like this now. It's just something when we first started, we would literally put anybody in the magazine that could make a nice cake. You didn't have to be a certain level or be famous or have a book out. We were nothing about that. If you were able to make a beautiful cake and wanted to share it with us and it was good enough to be in the magazine, we would put it in there. It didn't matter if you had no Facebook page. And I think that is what the awards are kind of about. It's not a popularity contest. We look at people's work, and then there's a panel of judges that decide from the four people who wins. And it's just one way of just recognizing people in the industry within certain categories and just giving something back to them. Cake decorating can be quite lonely as well. So if you're a cake decorator and you're at home on your own, you are churning out these cakes. And I think social media is something that kind of keeps you sane. You have lots of cake friends, and the Cake Awards was probably one of the first social events where you're not in an apron, you're not demoing a cake, and you are actually dressed up and looking gorgeous, and you're meeting your friends. And there's a real sense of community in the room. And I think the first time we did the awards as an event in 2014, it was so emotional when everyone went up on stage. These single people who kind of work by themselves, when they were talking about winning an award, everyone in that room could kind of resonate with it. They could kind of relate to it, and it made it so special to be sharing it with them. So that's just kind of what it's about. It's about kind of recognizing people and companies in the cake decorating industry and just giving them an award and just shouting about it. And that's what the awards are basically about.
Well, I think we're all artists, right? And just like any artist or actor, we need a lot of validation. We need a lot of hugs. Yeah. So that always helps. And getting an award just kind of validates that, you know what? I left, my law firm to make cakes, and this is still a valid business, and this is what makes me happy, and I'm really good at it, or whatever it is. So I think that's magnificent. But everybody calls it the Oscars of the cake world. Why is that?
So, I mean, we do everything we can to just make the awards the best party ever and very experiential. So we have a fantastic set of sponsors that have, really helped us. I mean, this year we have Satin Ice, we have Cake Stuff, an online retailer. We have Innovative Sugarworks, who have great tools. We have Silicone Work, Magic Colors, Renshaw, Wilton, Fonderific, the Cake Decorating Company, Cake Frame, and Rainbow Dust. And it's through working with them and them sponsoring an award that really allows us to be able to make an amazing event. When we were deciding how to have the event, I just thought, an award ceremony, what could I do? And in my mind, I had an idea of the Brit Awards or the MTV Awards. So where you have stars come up on stage and there's a huge nominations video, and I thought, I want that. I think I really want that. I think it would be great. And
how fantastic is that? That's so fantastic. It's such a fantasy.
So we have some great kind of music, and we have the nominations videos coming up with the finalists' headshot and a portfolio of some of their work, and then this gorgeously emotional music in the background, and then we have a glittery gold envelope with the presenter opens, they unwrap the bow, and they say the winner is, and so it really is that. So I really wanted to encapsulate that.
I'm getting chills right now. I want to go.
So that's I think that's why people call it the Oscars, and it's where people really dress up and make themselves look amazing, and everything's like sparkly or glittery, and it's just, it just has that feel. And I think that's why that the Cake Oscars name has sort of stuck. So yeah.
Fantastic. Good for you. Now, how does the one get nominated?
So we have a nominations form that is open for a certain period of time, and you can either nominate yourself.
Okay.
So we're not precious about you nominating yourself. That's not that we. If you want to do that, you can absolutely do that. And you just fill in the form. We have all the categories there, and you just put in the people that you want to nominate, or yourself against whichever category that you want to be nominated for.
Okay, and you only have 4 people for each category, is it?
We only have 4 people.
How do you select that? How do you select the 4?
So we have a shortlisting process. So in the nominations, form, we have lots of fields where you can talk about the person. You can give your comments of why you think this person should be nominated. You have then a place for you to put that person's links off to their cakes down, or a particular cake that you want us to look at. So we end up having to look through all of that. So we had over 65,000 nominations come through. So we had to look through all of that, and then we have to sort through, and then we decide who our top 10 are, and then we whittle it down to the top 4, and it is then the judges that decide who will actually be the winners. So the thing that happens is that each of the finalists, they send in a body of work. So this is quite a lot of work for them. They have to send at least 20 images this year.
Wow.
20 images that best reflect their work. So that's 40 images per category that the judges then have to look through. And there's 16 more. There's a certain number of categories that the judges will then look through. And then they have to look through all of those, and they have to comment, and then they have to put first, second, third, and fourth down, and then we will then decide who the winners are. And it's quite a long process. It's quite a long process, and the judges do really work hard to look through the portfolios, and they give us our time. They give us the time to look through it, and it's great to have these judges on board who are amazing people in the industry. Looking through the portfolios and actually deciding who the winners are. So we do actually have all of the judges' results in.
Oh, you do?
We do know who our winners are. Yes, we do.
Where's that box?
Pardon?
Where's that box? Where's the envelopes?
It's locked in the Cake Master's office.
Oh my goodness!
So we do have. They have all come in.
Who are your judges?
Pardon?
Who are your judges?
Judges, we have, let me just get that up. So we have quite a lot of judges. There's 13 of them this year.
Wow. It's a lot. It seems like a lot of work from beginning to end. When does the process?
It's quite exhausting. I think the last 2 months have been crazy, especially after the tickets went on sale
and you're sold out.
And it was just a bit crazy, and then the portfolios had to come in. So let me just get the judge's image up, so I can just run. Are
you going to get a football stadium?
We have a very, very special guest. 2 amazing people that will be emceeing the event. We have Mike McCary and we have Rosie Cake Diva.
Oh my goodness!
Are both going to be emceeing on stage. It's going to be pretty amazing.
What fun!
Mike is awesome. He won Cake Hero Award last year. And he's just fantastic. I've met him a few times, and he is totally fantastic. I'm so happy that he's going to be in the UK, and I'm even more happy that he's going to be emceeing the event. So our judges, we have Carlos Lachetti, we have Lindy Smith, we have Alan Dunn, who is Sugar Flower.
Alan Dunn!
Yes, we have Eddie Spence, who is Royal Icing Master. We have the lovely Marina Souza. I really love her.
Oh, I love her.
Zoe Clark. We have Mariska Walker. I mean, such amazing people. We have Karen Portoleo this year. We have Peggy Portion. We have Nicholas Lodge, who's absolutely amazing. We have Julia Usher, who's amazing at cookies. Casey Lackey and Mike McCary. So, yes.
That sounds like a fantastic group. Oh my goodness.
Yes, amazing set of judges.
How did you pull that? How did you pull that off? You just asked, or?
No, they were. I think they really enjoy the awards, and I think they think it's a good idea. And we've had a great, conversation with them of how we can make things better and things like that. And they're just great. They're a great bunch of people, and yeah, it's been great to have them on board as our judges.
Imagine that you started a magazine, but it had nothing to do with baking. And it was totally
Right.
something else. It was just like, who knows where this would have led to? What's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
It is quite tough. I mean, I love fruity based stuff, so maybe not cake really anymore. I love fruity, like tarts or
Tarts.
flans and stuff like that. Anything without sponge. I'm kind of sick of cake now. I'm sick of buttercream. We haven't really had a cake. I haven't really had a cake, like proper sponge cake, in a long time. I just prefer fruit flans and stuff like that.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
That's probably my favorite dessert.
What would you say the hardest thing is about running a magazine?
I think definitely the business side of it. I think having a magazine and being the editor of the magazine is all good and well, but when you actually have a business where you have people work for you, or you have bills to pay, or you have rent to pay, it's all of that kind of stuff on the side that you don't really want to have to deal with on a regular basis, because you just want to be the editor of a magazine. You don't want to have to think about everything else. So it's more the operational side. I think that's the hardest thing to do, and especially when you're growing. It's really hard to sort of keep up with the kind of admin side and the finance side. I would say that was the hardest thing for me. I think it's because I probably don't like doing that stuff and kind of leave it. Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest thing to do. Just actually the running of the business.
I think a lot of cakers out there can completely relate to that. If this industry could use anything, I would hire a agent in a heartbeat. Somebody take care of my numbers so that I could just create pretty things.
It's quite hard.
It is,
I
because
mean, we thought about outsourcing, but if when you don't have control of what's happening, I feel distant. So I feel like I have to do it, but then I don't have the time to do it. It's a bit of a catch-22.
Absolutely.
It's a vicious circle.
Yeah, it is. So what's the best part?
The best part is seeing all the cakes and meeting amazing cake people. Coming from a corporate background where everything's quite rigid and everything's very formal, to be immersed in this really creative industry of regular people who just create such amazing things, and who sometimes don't even think that it's that amazing, but other people around them just say it's amazing. It's just, I think the cakes and the people are probably the best bit. Meeting lots of amazing people, being able to travel. I've traveled so much just by doing the magazine. I've been to Florida, been to Miami, New York, and been to Marseille to judge a cake competition. It was fantastic.
Speaking of that,
it's the people and the cakes. I think that's the best part of the job.
Speaking of that, when are you coming back to the States?
So we are going to be at the SoFlo convention next year, and also the Satin Ice Cake Fair show. So we're really looking forward to those two shows. We will be at a few more shows. We're just finalising which ones those will be.
Okay, this is going to be a really tough one to answer, and you're a magazine, so you're going to have to do this very politically. Do you have a favorite cake? Do you have a favorite caker? A favorite style? If
Do I have a favourite cake? I have a favourite cake. I mean, there are some awesome cakers out there, and there are lots of lovely people out there as well. So I don't know.
How about a style? How about a style?
Style. I don't even know if I have that. I mean, I really love kind of clean Gravity to Divine cakes, and then I love kind of rustic, sort of busy cakes with tons of flowers, and I love miniature work on cupcakes. So Cheryl Vito is just amazing. Sab's cakes as well. She does lots of miniature cakes, miniature stuff on cupcakes. I have a soft spot for cupcakes for some reason. But then, I love kind of like beautiful floral wedding cakes, and
so you can't choose.
No, I can't choose, unfortunately. I mean, there's so many different styles. I think that's just what the problem is. Because people take novelty cakes or structured cakes to the next level. It's just, wow, okay. I think that's also another thing I'd say I love about this job, is that you always see people pushing the boundary of what they can do next. like Mayen from Way Beyond Cakes by Mayen. She's like got a
Yeah.
backpack cake and then like a handbag cake, and you think, wow, she's got a new handbag. No,
How about
the weights, the dumbbells? Yeah, amazing. And I think the way she photographs it, it's pretty amazing how she presents it. So it's just always people like pushing the boundaries, and then you have different people doing glow in the dark stuff or stuff with rice paper and structured stuff. Or it's just incredible what people do.
the imagination?
And it's really hard to pin it down to one particular person.
I agree. I'm going to let you go because I know you're super busy. You got to shine up all those awards and make sure that lock is really tight on those envelopes. But what would you say to, what advice would you give a caker who's starting out, who's having a tough time getting noticed? They know they're talented or what have you. What should they do?
So are they wanting to have advice of how to get into magazines, or what do you mean by getting noticed?
I suppose that way, maybe getting into magazines or, I guess because if you are in magazines, you could show that back to your clients and it kind of validates your business.
Yeah, I think maybe two-pronged approach. I think cake shows are great to enter competitions and really challenge yourself, and that way you're really putting yourself against other amazing cake artists. And at Cake International particularly, because I've been to the show so many times, I can talk to that one. You see people going in with a bronze, and then you see them next show with a silver, and then maybe you see them the next show going back to a bronze because they tried a different category and it didn't quite work out. But you see people just going back and back, and then you see them winning Best in Show, which is like the best award that you could have in competitions. And I think it's just staying true to yourself and to your style, and just really trying it. And you contact the magazines out there, share on social media, but think about why you want to get noticed. It's not always about getting noticed. It's about really getting noticed to your clients and things like that. It's great being in a magazine, but that's not the only way I would market yourself. Market yourself in your local area. If that's your main thing, to like have wedding cake to a certain area, think about things locally. I would always tell people to look locally. If that's your main thing, you want to sell cakes, wedding cakes and whatever, really look at your area, look at your geographical area and see what you can do locally there, rather than jumping on Facebook and thinking that you need likes to validate yourself. It's great being in a magazine, but I think, cake competitions are a really great way of stretching yourself because you're pitching against other amazing cake artists. So I think cake competitions are a great way of actually pushing yourself and learning a lot about yourself and being judged, which we don't always like happening. But no, it's good. It's good to be kind of competitive in a professional way at a cake show.
Yeah, at least you're being judged by a professional rather than people who are your loved ones, and they're never going to say anything wrong about your cake. So we always constantly talk about the trained eye. So if you want to be pushed and you want to be get good, criticism, the award shows, the cake shows are the ones to go to. Rosie, thank you so much for your time. That was great advice. So she's saying, you can get noticed by a magazine. That's great, but use your local marketing, right?
Yeah. I mean, just it's up to you why you want it and what you need it for.
Why would you need it?
Look everywhere. Just look everywhere. Expand your horizons. Just don't stick to social media.
Why would you need to be in a magazine?
If you're a cake artist and you want to raise your own profile, there's different reasons to be in a magazine. I mean, being in a magazine is great. Everyone loves to be in a magazine, but there's much more that you should think about when you are either a business or a cake artist. You need to think about what your goals are. And I sometimes think that people need to think about local marketing as well as being in the fantastic magazines. There's lots of magazines out there globally, which does raise it does give you like a little stamp of approval that you have been in the publications, you're good enough to be in a publication, which is great. But if you are a bakery in a certain area, being in a magazine isn't gonna, it will help you maybe raise your profile as you are good enough to be in a magazine. But I always think when somebody says, oh, I have a bakery, what could I do? I think you really need to think creatively in your local area. What could you do to get your business out there?
Excellent piece of advice, you guys. I mean, this is Rosie saying it, so listen to her. Hello. Why wouldn't you take that advice and run with it? Rosie, thank you so much. Good luck with the awards. Hope to see you guys next year. I can't wait to see videos and photos, and I can't wait. You know what? I really can't wait to see everybody's dresses, what they're wearing. I mean, that might be the new thing too. Who are you wearing? I'm wearing satin nice.
We do actually have something very special. So we are going to be giving away a pair of tickets to next year's event.
When?
At the awards, we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to the 2017 Cake Awards. All you have to do is take a picture, or take lots of pictures, put it on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook with the hashtag Cake Oscars, and we will choose a best picture, and that person will win tickets to the next year's award.
So you have to attend this year's award to win next year's award?
Yes.
Unless you steal somebody
else. Get people sharing it while they're there.
Okay.
What's happening while they're there. So we are going to give away a pair of tickets to the best photo.
Oh my goodness. You heard it here, you guys. So you can win a pair of tickets for next year, because you know how hot this is. You're going to have to rent a football stadium next year.
I don't know what we're going to do next year. There's so many unhappy people who didn't get tickets, and I feel really bad. I didn't have any tickets to hand, and you know, we might have some cancellations. People have made some murmurings, but nobody wants to give up their tickets. So if there are any, we do have a waiting list, and if there are any people who can't come, we will go back out to that waiting list. But it's not looking likely, unfortunately, at the moment, but we will see if there is anything, and we will be in touch with anyone on the waiting list to let them know if they can come or not. But,
yeah, that's probably tough.
Lots of pictures. Yeah, it's really tough, but hopefully next year we'll have a bigger venue. We can accommodate more people. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. Okay, well, Rosie, thank you so much for your time. I know we went a little bit over, but I'm very grateful for all your advice. You guys take it and run. It's coming straight from Rosie. And if you have something that you want to share with the world and perhaps be published, share it with Rosie. And on Cake Masters, where can they find the link to share their work?
Yeah, it's on the, just go to our Facebook page. So it's just Cake Masters. Or you can go to the contributors, sign up.
Fantastic.
On the website.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Rosie, thank you for being here.